What if I told you there's a possibility that, in many cases, cheating isn't exposed not because it's rare, but because it's hidden in plain sight? Think about it for a second. Most people imagine cheating as something dramatic, risky, and chaotic, like late-night texts, secret hotel visits, or obvious behavioral changes that eventually raise red flags. But what if, instead, it often happens in a way that blends perfectly into everyday life? I have a theory that, a lot of the time, wives who cheat don't get caught, not necessarily because their husbands aren't paying attention, but because the cheating is structured so carefully around a normal daily routine that it leaves almost no trace. Consider the average day. The husband goes to work, usually on a consistent schedule, leaving the house for 8, 9, maybe even 10 hours. During that time, he's focused on providing, handling responsibilities, dealing with stress, and thinking about the future. Meanwhile, the wife has a full understanding of that schedule. She knows when he leaves, when he might check in, and when he's expected to return. That predictability creates a window of opportunity, and within that window, everything can happen and disappear before there's even a chance for suspicion to turn into proof. If something does happen, it's not chaotic or rushed, it's calculated. It fits into the flow of a normal day, hidden between errands, routines, and responsibilities that appear completely ordinary on the surface. And by the time the husband gets home, there's nothing left to see. No messages, no physical evidence, no unusual timing, just the same environment he left that morning. Even if he has a gut feeling, even if something feels slightly off, what can he actually point to? Suspicion without evidence is a fragile thing. It creates internal conflict. On one hand, he might feel like something isn't right, but on the other hand, he has no concrete proof, and accusing someone without proof comes with consequences. It can damage trust, create arguments, and even make him question himself. So what often happens is that the suspicion gets pushed down. He tells himself he's overthinking, that he's being paranoid, that he should trust his partner. And that's where the situation becomes even more complex, because the structure itself protects the secrecy. It's not about elaborate lies, it's about timing, routine, and understanding how to operate within the boundaries of what looks normal. When everything aligns with what's expected, it becomes incredibly difficult to detect anything unusual. And over time, that doubt doesn't disappear, it transforms. Instead of questioning the situation, the husband may start questioning himself. He might feel guilty for even thinking something could be wrong. He might convince himself that his suspicion is unfair, that he's projecting, or that he's letting insecurity get the best of him. That self-doubt reinforces the illusion of normalcy, and the cycle continues. Meanwhile, the outward image of the relationship remains intact. To friends, family, and anyone looking from the outside, everything appears stable, even ideal. There are no obvious cracks, no dramatic confrontations, no visible signs of betrayal. The wife maintains the image of loyalty and innocence, not necessarily through constant deception, but through consistency. The routine doesn't break, the story doesn't change, and nothing stands out enough to trigger undeniable concern. And that's what makes this theory unsettling. It suggests that the absence of evidence doesn't always mean the absence of wrongdoing. It might simply mean that the situation is structured in a way that naturally erases evidence before it can be discovered. But it's important to approach this idea carefully, because while the theory highlights a possibility, it doesn't mean it applies to every relationship or even most relationships. Human behavior is complex, and trust is a foundational part of any healthy connection. Not every unexplained moment or routine is hiding something deeper. In fact, assuming the worst without cause can be just as damaging as ignoring real issues. The real takeaway here isn't about encouraging suspicion, it's about understanding how patterns, routines, and predictability can shape what we notice and what we miss. When something fits perfectly into what we expect, we're less likely to question it. That's just how perception works. We look for anomalies, for disruptions, for things that stand out. But if nothing stands out, we assume everything is fine. And in most cases, that assumption is correct. But the theory challenges that comfort zone by asking a simple question: what if sometimes, the reason nothing stands out is because it was designed that way? It also raises a broader point about how people navigate trust and doubt. Trust isn't just about believing someone, it's also about how we handle uncertainty. When there's no clear evidence either way, we're forced to make a choice. Do we trust and risk being wrong, or do we doubt and risk damaging something real? Most people choose trust, not because they're naive, but because the alternative can be destructive. Constant suspicion can erode a relationship just as quickly as betrayal can. So even when there's a lingering question, it often gets buried under the desire to maintain peace and stability. And that dynamic can unintentionally create an environment where certain things, if they were happening, could remain hidden indefinitely. Again, this doesn't mean they are happening, it just means the structure exists for them to go unnoticed. Ultimately, this theory is less about accusing anyone and more about exploring how everyday life can sometimes obscure reality. It's about recognizing that what we see isn't always the full picture, and that normalcy can be both genuine and, in some cases, a very effective cover. But it's also a reminder that trust, communication, and awareness are crucial. Instead of jumping to conclusions, the healthier approach is to build relationships where transparency and honesty reduce the need for guesswork altogether. Because at the end of the day, a strong relationship isn't built on the absence of suspicion, it's built on the presence of clarity, mutual respect, and open communication.